Well, what do you love most about the experience of Sikh religion?
The experience,
Yeah.
it's just, I mean, one thing that attracted me the most is just the emptying yourself. So with me, it was, I always used to chase like Maya things, like we call it Maya, like sort of like money,
Yeah.
cars. I mean, I loved PlayStation and all.
Yeah.
I mean, I would always chase after the latest games console, latest consoles and laptops and stuff. So, I mean, I saw like, then I found out the Sikh faith is teaching us more to empty your mind and more to connect with God.
Yeah.
And also what brought me towards is the idea of righteousness, always standing up for righteousness. So the idea of we keep the sword, and really we should be going out there helping the homeless,
Yeah.
and also langar seva that we do.
So how do you strike a balance with that then? Because it is quite a problem with any moral code or any religion. How far do you relinquish yourself? Because if you go 100% into helping others, then it may happen that you very quickly lose the position that allowed you to do that in the first place.
Okay, yeah, no, absolutely. So it's about having a balance. We believe that we should have a job, we should be living in family life, and then we should make seva part of our culture. So seva is selfless giving, selfless serving. So we make that part of our normal. So a Sikh will go to the Gurdwara, will wash dishes, cook, and as a normal thing. The other thing, like for example, what we do, we teach. So that's the kind of service to the society. Because
What do you mean?
we teach Sikhism.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's kind of like our seva, because we realised that a lot of Sikhs didn't know anything. So about 3 years ago, I made that YouTube channel.
Yeah.
We, as a group now, what we do is we go out there and raise awareness of Guru's message. For us, that is part of serving the world, because like it's kind of like what Jesus said, you can't live by bread alone. Yeah, if you give people just food, then you haven't really elevated them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not about converting people. So the crucial difference is, like I said to you earlier, we wouldn't try to convert somebody who's off of faith. But if somebody has no faith, they believe that they should have a faith. You should get a guru, someone who's come from there and sort of knows the way back there. So if you're standing on a mountain and you're like, should I go up the mountain or not?
Yeah.
So, the people that are standing there thinking, I don't know if I should go up the mountain or not. We can help them to get up the mountain. The ones that are already climbing up the mountain in their crew, like the Muslims climbing up one grove and the Christians going up this way, that's fine, let them climb up the same way. We might give them some guidance, hey, watch out for that big rock over there. So for example, like with the Hindus, the Gurus would teach them that the God is not in a stone. So don't get attached to the stone. Yeah, he's in the heart. So that would be the guidance we'd give to somebody who was a Hindu, right? But we wouldn't go around to Hindus saying, oh, you guys, you're going to go nowhere. You know what I mean? You're going to go to hell. That's not the way to do it, because that's kind of like divisive,
But
isn't
you
it?
would be interested in converting an atheist?
Well, an atheist, no, let's say converting. What would be interesting in that person to convert to Sikhism? Maybe because I believe Sikhism has got all the truth inside it. But I would want that atheist to meditate, to connect to God.
That's
That's a
very important idea.
atheism doesn't really have, it can't be a belief. Do you see what I mean? A belief has to be based upon some kind of experience, right? So I believe you're here because I can see you.
Yeah.
But atheism is based upon a lack of experience. So I don't believe there is God because I haven't yet experienced Him. So in a way, it's only one step further. It's like an extreme form of agnosticism. An atheist is somebody who says, I don't know there is a God, but I'm choosing to believe there isn't one, right? Based upon what evidence?
Yeah, that's quite a crude idea, and I agree with you that that's how most atheists conceive of how they approach the world. I am an atheist, and I have one issue with what you've been saying, is that I'm not sure that message or that connection needs to come through individual people.
Okay.
So I don't believe in a God, but I think you can experience the love and the essence through everything that's around you.
Give me an example.
With that,
Give me an example.
So, because I'm an atheist, I have to believe that the world wasn't created by something like a person, and that it's not sustained by something like a person.
Okay.
So, but that necessitates my belief that matter and sort of what exists is in some way self-organizing. That life can sort of spring up from nothing.
But doesn't science say that like everything has to come from something? Like there's a cause of
everything. No, we're going to go into the crass idea of like this, the universe from nothing.
No, but if I believe in something like evolution, I have to believe that, that there was no life, and then there was.
No, you could say that given the order in the universe, that that matter tends to organize. Yeah, that's fair enough. The question here is, look, We don't tend to
sorry.
debate atheists on science and all that kind of stuff. That's not.
No.
Yeah. But go on. Finish your point. Yeah.
My point is, I find that incredibly beautiful. The idea that matter can organize itself in some way. And that's how I feel about poetry a lot of the time. That it sort of creates something out of nothing.
No, the beauty in the world cannot be denied by even atheists or religious people. They all sit and stare at something beautiful and go, "Wow!" It stuns them to silence.
Even this is beautiful.
Even though,
or just the existence of it all.
It can fill you with awe. Like you look at the stars and look at the galaxies and stuff, and you think, "Wow, how amazing!"
So, for me, it's more wonderful for my belief that it wasn't specifically created by something like a person.
You think it would be more wonderful that God didn't make it, than if it was that God had made it?
Yes.
That's a bit strange. But I'll give you an example why. Okay, that's like saying. Let's say you came across something like a beautiful building. You're saying it's more wonderful that this building sprung up by itself than if I knew that somebody had made it. But how it's kind of like an extreme form of ignorance, isn't it? It's like ignoring how the world works. That you accept the fact that actually everything, it's like a child. Like a child saying, I don't want this to happen, I want it to be magic. I don't want it to be, I don't want it to have like a system behind it. Right? I don't want it to, you've been given a body, you have all these emotions, you have all this experience, but it's like saying, I don't want it to be
but it's that the system's in it.
Yeah, but isn't that a little bit of, I mean, I'm not criticizing you, I'm just saying there's an element of that where it's a bit childish. It's not it's to say that I don't want it. I want it to be. I want it to be perfect.
The most creative mind.
No, but I'm not. But what if? But what do adults say to children who say that? They say you are the adult, and your child says, it's not all my. There must be a system. Somebody. Yeah, right. So in a way, it's like growing up to realize while we're here. So if somebody's sitting there thinking, I know, it's like I don't want to know why I'm here. I don't want to know who the creator is.
No, but I do. And it's
but the way the Sikh would never talk to anybody about this. We say it's not about trying to get someone to believe in God. Or you know, like how people go through on YouTube, they've got these people that are trying to convince people just using this theological argument and stuff like something must come from something.
And then on the other hand, you have people who are trying to fiercely trying to convince people that there is no.
Right. We say, look, let's ignore that for a second. Right. Let's just focus upon the simple fact, right, that what you've heard so far is a very ethical, moral way of living. Agreed?
Yeah.
And the gurus, for example, the sixth guru making a mosque. The ninth guru actually was beheaded in Delhi to save Hinduism. So the only person I can think about is a prophet of one religion, head of a religion. Prophets, again, not the ideal word, but head of a religion, giving his life to let Hindus practice their faith. Right, 1675 in Delhi, the ninth guru was beheaded. So for me, the gurus just by themselves stand out as amazing moral leaders. Right. On top of that, they don't seem to have made any kind of bad moral choices. Then they say to us, listen, there is a God. He's inside your heart. If you meditate, you can experience him. Right. So just out of sheer curiosity, I would say, why not try it? So the gurus were so amazing, and they built this system of equality, of morality, of serving people. Like, you know, even now in this country, there's so much langar given out by Sikhs. Recently we had a campaign called Langar Week. We went across the country to raise awareness of the fact that there's langars available. I went to the Gurdwara, there was a cameras cam down, we talked about langar. Right next to me, I just sat down, serendipity, whatever it is, we don't believe in it, but next to me was a guy from Scotland who'd been made homeless a couple of weeks ago, and he was there in the Gurdwara having food. Just when the cameras was turned, and he was sitting next to me talking to me, and he was the one that dominated the news clip that came later on. And what he said was, look, at this moment in time I could be out there trying to steal food from Tesco's, but the fact that the Gurdwara here is giving me free food, I'm not a Sikh, I've got nothing to do with the Sikh religion, I'm just having nice free food, warm, it's healthy, right, and I don't have to steal, I can survive. And he was so thankful for the Sikhs. So the Sikhs have been doing this stuff for a long time. So just the mere fact that they're there and the gurus made this system which is so perfect, and the fact that Guru Granth Sahib is so amazing, for me it was like I should just try it, the meditation side. When the meditation worked, I don't need to be told anymore that it's the truth. It just worked. So we don't go up to people saying, you know what, you're going to burn in hell because you don't believe. We accept the fact that people don't believe in God because they haven't had the experience of God. And really, it's not really, I haven't done anything to get this experience. I wouldn't say I'm better than you in the slightest. I've just asked for it. And he's been grateful enough to give it to me. And I'm very grateful for the fact that he let me experience him. So the only difference between me and you is that given so far you haven't had the chance to experience God. Not saying that you won't, just so far you haven't had a chance. So it's literally a case of turning around and saying, if you're there, let me experience you. Prove me wrong, because literally what could go wrong? What could go wrong? Either we find out that there was an architect that designed the building, and then we get closer to knowing the truth of what happened, or we stay in the child wondrous way of saying, oh, it's all magic, it just happened by amazing. But what if it wasn't a magic, and then there was a purpose to your life which was bigger than just marveling at the greatness of it all, but getting involved in serving it, being a finger of His, so to speak. Like, I see myself as like, just like a toenail of God, doing whatever He wants me to do, wherever, you know what I mean, just doing and serving. So we're in the world where people are ignorant. Let's go and make them aware of where they come from. Make them aware of the message.
So maybe it's just that I'm uneasy about the fact that you talk about him as a male figure and as a.
Well, I said again to you, it's a relational thing. It's not actually. He's not physically male. Yeah, in the sense that we understand as a male, he's not physically male. It's just that relationship is that. It's still
a bit problematic for me, but that doesn't.
But again, that's because you haven't had that experience yet. So it's kind of like
I resent that a bit because you really are placing yourself.
No, but it's not that sense though. It's
experienced something like the essence of things, but it wasn't for me a unified and anthropomorphic figure.
Okay, what was it like?
It was the synthesis of things.
Because once I experienced God as a mother, it was like mum, just watching over me. And in fact, Gurbani would back that up as well. So I say him, so apologies for that. But Gurbani is very clear that he has no agenda, and many times refers to God as mother. And so it's like, tu mera pita, tu hai mera mata. Pita means father, mata means mother. So you are my father, and you are my mother. Yeah. So in that sense, my wording might be wrong. And also, I didn't aim to make you feel bad about the experience. What I'm trying to say is that there is this divine experience that we can have from here, which blows us open. To how amazing God is. And I used to go meditating with the Buddhist girl. She was at Oxford as well. We used to go down to Southall, go to the temple. We should chant God's name for an hour. She's Buddhist, I'm a Sikh. There wasn't really a conflict because it's the essence, right? But once you feel that divine love and greatness, it's not something you can then ignore. You know that somebody is there all the time. And if that experience is going on right now, like for example, I'm having it right now, you realize that it's not something which is, it's not something that is. It's real. So you can't. There's no more like, oh, I don't know if God's here or not. Agnosticism. Oh, I know there's no God. I atheism. But He's there. I can't deny it. It's like standing in the sunshine saying there's no sunshine. There's no sunshine. There's no sunshine. You can't do it, right? So the reason I said that you haven't experienced it because you haven't yet said, I know He's there. And it's just a byproduct of that. Okay. Because had you experienced when I say him, or the one, had you experienced the one, you'd be saying, I know what you're on about, bro. I felt it. Yeah. So it's literally an overwhelming being that just envelops us. But it's not like a God like we think in the Christian, a God up in heaven, big white beard, looks like my grandfather kind of thing, staring down at us. So you have been bad. You'll be sent into eternal hell. We haven't got eternal hell. We've got this idea that you come back and you get to try again. But in terms of you were talking about the global mission, so just to give you an idea what the global mission of Sikhs is, no atheist in the history of atheism has ever really disliked Sikhs for this one reason. Our global mission is simply three main things. Everybody in the world should have food. Everybody in the world should have freedom. And shelter and medicine and education. That's it. That's our global mission.
No, I think
we're going to carry on doing that until everybody's fed, everybody's protected, everybody's got freedom, everybody's got freedom of conscience.
That's why.
So even we would let an atheist remain an atheist because it's cool, man. But as long as you're free and you're fed and you're healthy, good.
And we can work.
We can work together. That's it's like a humanist idea.
So maybe the arguments about cosmology and origin and essence aren't too productive.
No,
at least
there's no point of them.
At least having them every day isn't productive for
for moving forward. Exactly. If somebody does not experience God, obviously we don't believe that you should be too close to that person. I don't mean rudely. If somebody's ethical, moral, that's great. But if somebody essentially doesn't accept the one who's all around you, they're not going to get you too much. Like you're going to say, it's evening, I want to go over to my prayers now. They're going to go, so you're tied in by rules. Because they're thinking it's rules to go and pray. But the Sikh has been thirsting for that the whole day. Right? And he's like, I need to get my fix. He's like, I want to get my hit now. Another guy's like, oh, you're so tired and you're addicted. It's like, yo, but but it's addictive, isn't it? God is addictive, because that experience of God is just mind blowing. Yeah. So it's just about respecting each other, working together. But for us, obviously, we want to help the guy to have the medicine, to have the experience of God. Because how would if you love somebody, you want to deny them the experience. If you meet a Christian, my advice to a Christian would be chant God's name. I always say become a Sikh. I say wake up in the morning, get the Lord's Prayer, get a rosary, chant God's name. I met a Muslim guy in Vancouver once at university, and he goes to me, no, I really like Sikhism, and it's a bit troublesome because I like Islam. I'm from a Muslim family, but I really like Sikhism. And he goes, I watch your videos. What do you think I should do? And I said, I think you should wake up in the morning, get a tasbih, which is a rosary for Muslim. I should chant the 99 names of God. So you could experience God as well, right? And then as long as the people are experiencing God, they're on that path, aren't they? And that's the path. We're all walking this path. What you even call it, the path is the path of the saints. So for us to say to an atheist, I would say, look, things like communism or humanism, they all sound great in theory. The problem is that unless you have something which is significantly more powerful to take away the human ego and the desire to gather gain for themselves, to be selfish, to screw other people over and get ahead, unless you counter that with something even bigger, you're going to keep that thing inside. You might suppress it.
I absolutely agree with you.
And this is one of the reasons why communism totally failed. Because it didn't start with compassion and love. And where does that compassion and love come from? From God. God's fully compassionate. With the word for we use is Dayal. Dayal is compassion. We say he's Daya. Daya we should have, and he is Dayal. Right? So he is the giver of compassion. So if we want to serve people, the better way would be to actually connect to that essence, which is so compassionate and so loving. Then we can actually go out there and it will wipe out some of the stuff. Otherwise you get like, soldiers join the army saying we're going to be good, then they go away to like Kenya and stuff, and the Canadian soldiers are out there raping the local women. Right? Because they haven't conquered their lust yet. Because the lust comes from ego, self. Oh, I want this. So by putting in the compassion, love of experiencing God, you'll solve that problem. So it's almost like me and you are like thinking about the world in a very similar way. But I'm getting medicine every day to deal with my inner problems that stop me from being a good person, right? And the other person might doing their own thing, they might be through poetry or whatever, but they're not getting this big medicine. It's kind of like,
I do get it through poetry.
No, I agree with you, but
which is,
but it's,
by all accounts, quite similar to your text.
Okay. But Gurbani is there's nothing like it in the world, right? And I have to say that because of the fact that what it can make you experience. It can actually transport you here. Sorry, what's your name again, by the way? Christoph Jugaraj. It can transport Mr. Christoph here to being in the presence of God, and nothing could beat that. Just say, for example, theoretically, if there was a God, and there is anyway, but let's say, just by one word, He made all of this. If there was a being, by one word, that created everything we can see now, all the galaxies, all the multiverse, everything, right? By just one word, how much more awesome must that being be, right? And why not connect to it? It's like if you've got the ability to connect to this amazing thing, why not? And that's how we look at it. We say, no, an atheism is kind of like going, knowing you're unwell, right? Seeing other people that are healthy, liking the healthy people, saying I can be healthy by myself, but missing out on seeing the doctor. And why not? Surely I'm not saying you have to, but surely looking at the gurus, seeing what they've done, they are pretty amazing, right? But all the stuff that they wrote, only about 2% talks about the stuff we've talked about, the ethics stuff. 98% is all about the experience of God. So that's
what you need to unify the humanistic impulse.
Because that's where we come from. It's kind of like denying where we come from. The thing is not that where we come from, it's what's all around us. The energy is all around us. We can't see the connectedness of the planet. We can't see that the sun and the moon, they all sing of Him. The saints, they say you can hear music everywhere. There's divine music playing all over the place. That's one of the things of stage of spiritual growth. You start to hear something called the unstruck melody. You can Google it. It's called Anhad Shabad. That everywhere you go, there's music playing. Who wouldn't want that? Who wouldn't want to listen to divine music being played? It's here right now. I can't hear it. But our ears can't hear what's all around us. Our eyes can't see what's going on around us. So we effectively walking around like blind people, deaf people. And if we just woke up to the great perception that's available to us, we'd be like, wow, it's amazing. Then we'd pity the people like myself, who don't see it. Now, the saints look at me and they're probably like, oh, bichara, a sad person, he can't even experience what God's really all about. So it really is missing out on that human existence we've got for X amount of years why not experience the whole thing? Why not see what's really there? Why not hear what's really there? Why not realize what it's all about? The Guru calls us waking up. So the first stage of spiritual growth is actually waking up. Yeah, but then but that's the first one. But interestingly enough, the second, third, and fourth, they're not about waking up. They're about sleeping. It goes backwards. You might think it's like waking up even more, but it's not. It's about sleeping the ego down. The ego goes to sleep.
Okay.
Yeah, and then you awaken to this divine that you are inside you is God, and then you can become like a walking. Say you can become a walking God. You go, God comes. So that then there's all there is that person who's a saint, like the gurus, they were beyond saints, but the gurus, they are like God. Because what's the difference between a glass of water and the ocean? Quantity, but essence, same, right? That's it. So that's how we see the holy person becomes like that. So people like Jesus, people like other holy saints, Kabirji, Fariji, these are people that became part of the ocean. Yeah, and because we love the ocean, we can see the ocean in that person. Like studied Plato.
Yeah.
You know the cave, yeah? So the cave, he comes out the cave, you know what he's looking at? He says reality. So it's like, like you're saying, you look at the wonder of it and you think, oh, it must be amazing. That's like looking at the shadows and go, the shadows must be amazing. Then turn around and see, oh no, they come from a light. But that's not the only light there is. There's a bigger light. So as you come outside, but when he comes, he says, when you come out the cave, you can't look at the sun. So, do you remember that part? He says one can't cope with the brightness of the sun. Yeah. So what does one do?
You have to look at things that reflect the sun.
Yeah, the pools of water on the ground that reflect the sun. So the Guru is like that. The Guru reflects the Waheguru like the pool of water on the ground reflecting the sun. And when you look at him, you can see the sun inside him, right? And you bow to him because of the sun. But when you start meditating him more and more, you realize that he is just the sun, and the sun's inside you. Then you just bow internally and say, wow. And that's what the word Waheguru, we say the word Wahe for God, we say Waheguru. The word Wahe is like wow.
Do you think it's a problem for a person who doesn't speak the language to?
No, because I've seen people who meditate just by the word Waheguru and they're not even and they just feel it God straight away. Remember that Buddhist girl was meditating and she was a Canadian. Yeah, so it's not language problem. Obviously, language helps. Okay. And on our channel,
why?
Because the poetry. When you translate poetry, what do you lose? The poetry.
The essence.
The poetry. You lose it because it's like English translation of a poetry. It doesn't feel like the poetry. So singing it in the original helps. But I learned it myself when I was 21. I had to start from scratch, reading it myself. The script is very simple. The Gurus actually invented the script of the Guru Granth Sahib Ji. The Guru Granth Sahib Ji script wasn't really around. The Gurus actually made a new script because at that time there was two main scripts, right? Arabic script.
So there are no Gurus anymore.
The Guru is the Guru Granth Sahib Ji. The text is now the Guru.
Text is now the Guru.
Yeah, so there's Gurus definitely here.
It's a very interesting progression.
Yeah, but it's the word, isn't it? The word manifested as Guru Nanak.
Yeah.
And then went back to the word. Yeah. So now the word
incarnate and then back to
the way we see it is that all of us, the people that are baptized Sikhs, that are Amritari Sikhs, they form the Guru's body. So the Guru has a body, it's the Sikhs, and he has a light, and that's the Guru Granth Sahib Ji. And that's what we follow. So we believe in the word form of him, then the physical form of him, in the saints and the Sikhs that follow him, and then we believe in the formless part of him, which is everywhere. Yeah, so he's everywhere, and we can feel him inside us. We close our eyes, we can meditate on him, we can connect to him. We don't have to close our eyes, we can do it while we're awake anyway. But
I'm going to try more meditation.
Should do. It's the only thing I can recommend wholeheartedly, as I know it helps.
What do you think about the tendencies especially in America at the moment, but of secularizing meditation and using it as a tool?
It's good.
Like mindfulness.
It's good. There's nothing wrong with it. There are some Sikhs that are trying to teach people Sikh meditation outside of religion as well. I think it's good. The thing to understand here is that let's say you had a hot potato. It's cold now anyway, so hot potato would sound quite nice. But let's say I threw you a really hot potato. Right? What are you going to do with it? Drop it, or hand to hand, and then try to get rid of it.
Yeah.
So inside us is like a disease. Yeah. The disease is ego, the self. Now you said earlier, I don't believe you have to give yourself, you can get straight to God. Why do you have to go through a person? The reason the person is important is because you can give your ego to the person. You can submit. Okay. You can submit to a person. Very hard to submit to the divine. But you can submit to the person. Now we submit to the text because it's to the Guru. Yeah. But it's still submitting to the truth. Yeah, and we submit to the Guru's teachings, and that gets our ego out of the way. Right? Because the disease we've got is always looking, thinking about, I think this, I think that. Whereas we're ignoring the truth right in front of us, that this is the way it should be. So in a way, we need a guru. Yeah, we need a guru, whether it's Christ, Muhammad, or whatever. We need someone we can surrender to. Because until that time we surrender the ego, it's like you saying to me, let's climb the mountain. I'm like, yeah, let's go. So I'm standing next to the mountain, you're standing next to me. He goes, no, you know what, I don't want to go from that rope hanging from the top. I've got my own rope.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, use your own rope. So we're going up the mountain. At some point, your rope might run out. Now, what's the guarantee about my rope versus your rope? Mine's come from the top. Yeah. It's coming from there, so it's gonna go back there. There's no way it won't go back there, right? Whereas your one, there's a risk, isn't there? At some point, you go halfway up, and then you suddenly realize I haven't got enough rope. Now what do I do? Yeah. So effectively, the guru has come from Waheguru. God has sent the guru down. So therefore, if I hold on to him, he take me back there, guaranteed.
Why do you need to go get to the top of the mountain?
That's a metaphor. It is a metaphor. But why do you need to get to God? Okay, that's kind of like saying, why don't you be in love?
Yeah, okay, that's a good
idea. If you love somebody, why don't you need to go spend time with them? Why not just love them from afar? No, it's kind of, it's a question that really, the answer is inside the question if you understood what it was. Yeah, it is what it is. Yeah, we thirst for it. Guru Sahib says in Bani they go, that I thirst for God's vision, to experience God, just like a thirsty person thirsts for water. You don't ask a thirsty person, well, why do you want water?
Okay.
You know?
So back to the ethics and morality thing. How do you work out what is good?
We have
do you find it in the text?
Yeah. There are a lot of writing. Yes, there's a lot of ethics in the text. Most of it's poetry about God, but there are rules. There are sort of like comments, like for example, humility, all the ethics stuff, they talked about in there quite a lot, like stay away from lust, anger, pride, be equanimous, share. Those things are in the Guru Granth Sahib Ji. But also I think for a Sikh is the Guru's examples, because remember we've got 10 Gurus, they weren't that long ago. So we've got a lot of their history, what they did, what they said. We've got a lot of that recorded, and those exampple set the way for us. Because like having, like I said to you, the 6th Guru built a mosque. What an amazing example. So recently, you must have seen the riots like 2 years ago in London, right? In Southall, Sikhs are out on the streets, right, protecting everything. But there was no riots in Southall. But what was interesting is about 5 o'clock, the Muslims wanted to go in and pray. Now they had Muslims outside the mosque, protecting the mosque. Southall Sikhs were all over this high street. Nothing was happening anyway. So they went inside to pray, but the Sikhs had protected the mosque outside. Because that's just how we are. That's just the thing. In Bombay when the mosque flooded, we said, come on in and pray. Even in New York recently, there was a breakdown at the mosque, and they came to Gurdwara and they prayed there. So we're not really about religion.
Does the Sikh religion have any skeletons in the closet?
No. Not from what I was studying it, I'm teaching it. Everything we teach is online on YouTube. So there's nothing that I can think about that.
I mean historically, because most...
No, the Gurus never did anything wrong.
Okay.
There's nothing in the Gurus you can point to, or any kind of like questions about paedophilia or whatever that people throw out there. There's none of that stuff. There's none of that stuff.
Persecution.
We have been persecuted. We've been persecuted.
Okay.
We've never persecuted anybody. We've been persecuted quite heavily. There have been a lot of aspersions put upon us about the recent last 30 years, 40 years in India. But obviously I think that from a Sikh point of view, that's primarily because India was supposed to be a federal republic of India. It's actually still called the Federal Republic of India. But it's not very federal government, it's very centralised government. They took away the Sikh freedom. We had our own kingdom before the British got there. The British took it off us. Then they gave it to the Indians. The Indians basically ripped it apart into two pieces. So where you see Pakistan and India now, in the middle of it was Punjab. It was split in half. So my family, from my dad's family, they were in Pakistan. Now they were in Punjab, but they were in now what's in Pakistan. So they all had to move across. So a lot of Sikhs died, about 1 million Sikhs died. And obviously then after that we had to fight for the linguistic right to speak Punjabi in Punjab, teach Punjabi to our kids. So from a Sikh point of view, there's no skeletons there. We're perfectly at ease with what's happened. And the fact that we've actually been persecuted by the Indian, I wouldn't say the Indians, but by the government, which has got a very straightforward policy. They just want to bring everybody coming to line. Most governments are control freaks. They aren't able to listen to them.
What's Modi's stance at the moment?
Modi is a nationalist Hindu, right? So as far as he's concerned, Sikhism is a branch of Hinduism. So he's like, as long as you stay within India and you just stay in your own little box and don't try to become too powerful, you can stay here. But if you decide to do what the Gurus did, i.e. becoming the Gurus they ran a state within a state. Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji, he made a throne. He sat on the throne, he ruled, he had an army, so he had an army within a state. So he's not obviously would be in favour of that, no. But the Sikhs, wherever we've always been independent. You know, we carry our own swords, we're independent. We don't tend to believe in any earthly power. We believe in the Gurus, you know. Whatever he said, that's more paramount to us than anything else. So in this case, at some point in India, the Sikhs are going to get offended because what they've done is they've started to control our institutions. How do you control an organisation? You control the institutions. So they've controlled our institutions. So at some point, the Sikhs are going to say, look, we want them back in our hands. And then there will be there shouldn't need to be a conflict within India as long as the Indians start to follow their own constitution. But they're not. It's the nationalist Hindu agenda which is ruling India. So for us, what I would say what Sikhs want to do in India is to make sure that actually what they should focus upon really for me is again freeing the institutions, but primarily for the larger Indians, making people aware of Sikhism, but also serving them. There's a lot of inequality in India, there's a lot of women abuse, all those things are what the Sikhs stood up for. So we should really be serving India, and as the more we serve India, the more we and show them what we can do for them, the more they'll love us. Like in this country, they love us. The British people generally love Sikhs because First World War, Second World War, we did so much. Now, if you look on news and type in Langar Week, go on YouTube and type in Langar Week, you'll see how much food we gave away to people. You know, there's middle Langar Seva every weekend. Every day they're feeding people on the streets. Right now, how cold it is. You know, in Southall, there's SWAT. There's other organisers across this country serving the British people. And I think the more we do of that, the more people realise we're not here to kind of impose ourselves on people. We're here to serve people, protect and serve. You know, it's like the police. I know it's cheesy, but that's really it's cheesy, but it's literally our mission. I mean, here is the leaflet a bit about what is the global mission, and it's literally there, protection and service. And there's examples of this. We're only here to serve people, protect them. That's why we carry a sword, and to serve. What we do is never for ourselves. Now our philosophy is not just for ourselves. Our philosophy is for other people. Look, really nice talking to you. Yeah, Christoph. Really good. It's been a long conversation. Let's get warm. Okay. Nice talking to you. Alright, so we'll talk. Check us out on YouTube. Thank you. If you want to email us or message, it's just the same thing. It's a channel name, Base of Sikhi, at Gmail. Thanks. Alright. Nice talking to you. Thank you very much. Good luck at Oxford.